Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Prathamesh. As the Speed Chess Championship continues to give us not only a lot of thrilling moments, but also some very important lessons. And one such lesson was presented to us from the match between So Wesley and Denis Lazavik. The match was very evenly poised, and both were 5-all over here. And this was a critical moment. White to play. The training question over here is white to play. Which pawn do you capture? B6, F6, or H6, or none? In the game, So Wesley missed out on the right answer, but of course, we can totally understand. The players are playing game after game, and it's blitz. It's 3 minutes each, 5 minutes each to start with, then 3 minutes, and they're just going at it game after game. And it's difficult to find every move and every accuracy, so we can totally understand. But let us learn whatever we can from this game. So white should play g5 over here and create a shelter for his king from opponent's rook checks using his opponent's pawns. Whether black takes fg5 or hg5, it creates a shelter for the white king. And this method is well known. It's famous from an old game which was analyzed by none other than the great teacher Mark Dvoretsky. So this was a game between Zaitsev and Hubner. And the only winning method for Zaitsev over here is to create a shelter for his king by playing g5. And when black captures the pawn, not to recapture with the pawn, but rather push the f pawn ahead with f5. After king f8, white played f6 and black resigned. The main reason being that the white king has formed an umbrella for itself using the black pawn as a shelter against the black rook's checks. This is the method that So Wesley could have used by playing g5. If, for example, if black goes for the natural recapture with fg5, then white can just take rook takes b6. Now if black plays rook d4 and goes after the d5 pawn, let's say after king takes pawn, rook takes d5, white can go king g7, rook d1, h6, rook h1, h7, gets his rook to the last rank and promotes the pawn. What you can see here is black rook does not have chance to check the white king. Another variation is after g5, fg5, after rook takes b6, if black would go rook c3, go after the g3 pawn, even then we see that after the captures, black can simply play rook e6, and black rook does not have the right checks to create problems for white. White can just push his pawn, h6, h7, and promote the pawn. The white rook is in a very good position to just stop the pawns easily and win. But there was another important lesson from the game, because So Wesley, after he played rook takes b6, let's see the game a few moves ahead and we'll understand. Rook g4 check, rook g3, and this, as we were talking about, this takes away the shelter from the white king. White took rook f6, e4, and black was smart enough to exchange off the d pawn for the e pawn. Rook takes d5, rook takes e3, rook g5, rook e2, rook g1. And this is the moment which brings us to another important lesson from the game. Basically, to win the game with your king ahead of the rook pawn, to win the game, you need the black king to be cut off at least 4 files. In this position, you can see that the black king is cut off only 3 files. And this is a draw. For example, when we go rook e2, rook g1, rook e5. Let's say, for example, instead of rook e5, white went king h8. To illustrate our point, black plays rook g3, h7, rook g1. Let's say white goes for rook a2, rook a8, and he goes for the winning idea with rook g8. The problem is, with 3 files cut off, while white takes his time to get his rook to g8, black can quickly step in with the king and take away white king's escape squares, so that black refuses the rook exchange, and then white cannot do anything to get his king out from ahead of the pawn. But if the black king is 4 files cut off, let us go to the lesson. If the black king is 4 files cut off, white is able to win. To illustrate the point, let's see an imaginary variation. Black goes king c7, white goes rook d2, and now the black king is 4 files cut off. So in this position, for example, white goes h7, and there is a typical method. Even here it's not easy though. For example, black has a defensive method. White goes for his idea of getting his rook to g8. If black goes king e7, white's win is quite easy. White goes rook g8, rook h1, brings his king out, a couple of checks from black, but at this moment the king comes out to f5 and the white pawn promotes. But the important variation is after king d7, rook f8, if black goes king e6. And this over here, white has to know a typical method, rook g8, rook h1, king g7, rook g1 check. Now if the white king came out to h6, this would be equality. Rather, he would have to just repeat the moves because after check, he has no way to get his king out without losing the h7 pawn. So instead of going to h6, after this check, white should go king to f8. Black goes rook f1 check, and he goes rook a1, trying his only defense over here for a mating net. But white goes rook g6 check, king f5. Even here, of course, white should not promote the pawn because there is a skewer, rook a8 check, and black will capture the queen. But rather important is the winning move over here, and that is rook f6 check. And now black is lost. If the black king captures the rook, of course, pawn promotes with a check, capturing the black rook. If the black king goes to e5, then white goes rook h6, rook behind the pass pawn. Remember, in a rook endgame, important theme. For rook check, king comes to f7, rook check, king comes to g6, and white wins. Instead, if black goes king to g5, then white goes rook f8, rook a8 check, king f7, rook a7 check, king g8, and white wins. So a very nice lesson and a very important training question that we get from this match between So Wesley and Denis Lazavik. I thought it nice to create a video and bring it up as a training question. I hope you enjoyed it and took the lessons, so many lessons from this speed chess championship, so many endgame lessons, tactical lessons, blunders happening, and it's so much fun to watch. I hope you're enjoying as much as I am. Thank you for watching this video. All right.